In 2013, we were reintroduced to the beloved character Lara Croft, and just as she rose as a survivor, so too did the sales of the reboot, including a few Game of the Year nominations from respected critics. With that kind of reaction, the sequel was inevitable, and this November, Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics delivered with Rise of the Tomb Raider coming first to Xbox consoles. Hey guys, Drak here, and we'll be taking a look today at the recently released Rise of the Tomb Raider, to see if it will rise above the expectations it has, or fall to dust like so many others. So let's get started. The story picks up sometime after the events of the first game, with Lara still recovering from the events of the Isle of Yamatai. But her way of recovering is a bit odd, as she has been looking into the history and disgrace of her father, and his pursuit of the Divine Source, an artifact that could bestow immortality on the user. But since Lara has now seen the impossible, she now believes she can locate it, and in turn exonerate him. But tasks like this are never easy for Lara, especially when a secret society called Trinity is after her, who not only is connected to her father's murder, but also seeks the Divine Source for themselves. So with that, the chase is on, and Lara is not only set on finding answers to her father's demise, but also to ensure the Divine Source doesn't end up in the wrong hands. As with the previous game, the visuals are staggeringly beautiful to behold, and truly belong on a next-gen console like the Xbox One, and hopefully soon the PS4. What also helps is that since this is a globe-trotting affair for a good portion of the game, you get lots of different sights to see. These can range from towering glaciers and snowy caves, to stunning desert ruins, and even some grungy swamplands and lush forests in a remote valley. Each new area is a sight to behold, and truly a testament to what we can expect from future next-gen titles. However, landmarks alone can't sell it, which is fine because the character design is equally great, adding upon the new textures like hair that the original tried to do, but improving upon it. I also like the new look for Lara, as it feels she's matured a bit since Yamatai, and it's also reflected in her voice actress, Camilla Luddington. Both of these mesh together well to show Lara has learned from her struggles, and that she's ready for more discovery. But sadly, no game is perfect, and I did encounter a few graphical glitches along my journey, one of which actually halted my game progression, as I was not able to complete a tomb due to an arrow grapple glitch that not a whole lot of people had experienced as of writing this review. As you might expect, I was bummed out by this, but I'm also hopeful, as it seems that it was rare and not as major a problem as it could have been to the game. With gameplay, Rise of the Tomb Raider expands on its predecessor in three major ways: survival, customization, and exploration. That's not to say they weren't as important, but a lot of improvements were made to these systems. With survival, it feels more essential than it did in the reboot. Heck, many who have watched my Let's Play of it noticed greatly that I stopped paying attention to it early on in the game, and it didn't affect me as it probably should have. But this game takes a nod from Naughty Dog's The Last of Us, and makes all crafting items essential to craft arrows, special kinds of ammo, and even certain bonus outfits for Lara that can be crafted with enough animal pelts. The second major improvement is the exploration, which has received a huge overhaul in the sheer amount of things to find. There's new and more expansive tombs, and shorter challenge tombs, which let you receive older benefits from the previous game, and the bigger tombs provide rewards like passive bonuses, unique weapons, and even help with locating other major targets of exploration later in the game. You can also have quests, given by the locals to do small things like stop radio transmissions, or get meat for soup, and get rewards like outfits or a new scope for a weapon. This all helps to pad out the game in a good way, as you'll always be encouraged to explore and see what reward is around the next corner, but this also allows for the more story-driven players to come back and get those rewards later if they wish to. Another major improvement is the level of customization in this game. As we mentioned earlier, you can acquire new outfits for Lara, but it's not just limited to that. You can also get unique items and weapons the story doesn't provide, such as the rope ascender from the first game, or a military-grade rifle earlier than the story would provide it. All of these new gameplay assets and more fit into making Lara Croft exactly how you wanted her to be in this new adventure. Much like its predecessor, the sound department has delivered spot on with the soundtrack and sound design. and helps to immerse the player into this hostile environment Lara ends up in. There were a lot of times where just hearing a crack not only made Lara jump, but myself also, as it was instinctual to think that the game was going to get much harder if you were spotted, or worse, lost a footing on a ledge. But a lot of that is also helped by the performances of the actors in their respective roles. Camilla Luddington makes you feel just as helpless as Lara does in most situations, and also helps you to feel the connection she has with her father and her desire to prove him right. But the hero can only do so much in the story to immerse. There also needs to be a compelling villain, and Charles Halford hits it out of the park with his performance of the Trinity Commander Constantine. Each time he is on screen, you know you're listening to the words of a madman, and there is nothing he says that you can trust. But to his followers, he is a god, and they will follow him to the ends of the earth to see the will of Trinity is done. All of these put together just add even more flavor to an already delicious game, and a compelling story to watch play out. So I did say earlier that with plenty to explore, there would be lots left to do after you complete the story. And while that is true, there is a downside to the replay value, as there is no New Game Plus feature. I looked everywhere, both in-game and online for this, and while I could find that you could repeat missions, it would only let you have the items you had in the game at the time. This is really disappointing to me, as there are a lot of items in the missions I would have liked to acquire easier with, say, the rope ascender to help with climbing or the wire spool with platforming. So yes, there is a lot to do still, but I kind of miss the opportunity to maybe break the game a little, as I feel some of the areas even teased that I could do so. So we've taken the many pieces apart and analyzed them, but do they work together to help tell this tale and immerse the audience in the world? To that I can scream a resounding yes. Aside from a few graphical glitches that will make you giggle, the game sucks you in and doesn't let go easily. As you will find, it's easy to lose track of time while you play this game. And while yes, it is a hard journey to go through emotionally and gameplay-wise, the reward for finishing it is there in spades, and makes you excited for what the Tomb Raider devs have in store for the series. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a beautiful game, and a great jumpstart title for new owners of an Xbox One, and earns a 9 out of 10 from me. And that's going to do it for my review. If you liked what I had to say, or disagreed with my score, feel free to leave a like or a dislike on the video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment below, as I do like to hear from you. You can also follow me on Twitter at Drak2326, and while you're here, take a look at all the various content my channel provides, like my Let's Play of Tomb Raider, or take a look at my podcast, Geek News, Reviews, and Opinions, where we take on the geeky events of the week. But as always, I am Drak, and I'll see you for the next review.